Hello, hello. So you guys probably haven't seen much of me. I've been having a bit of trouble with my sound quality. And, when you're on platforms and podcasts, you got to have your sound has to be together. And I've been having some trouble with that. And plus I've been doing some behind the scenes stuff with the summit coming up. So been pretty tied up with that and helping out, where I can with the Nurse Shift Change rally, but mostly it's been, like I said, behind the scenes between the business and with the summit. But I do want to talk about the summit. I want to talk about the uh, pitch competition. So I want to talk about the pitch competition. So I did share what we're looking for with the pitch competition, and what we're looking for primarily is three things, right? You want to, because people have said, well, what's a pitch competition? So maybe I should start there. And for those of you who are not familiar with what a pitch competition, and it's no, because I wasn't sure what a pitch competition was either. Like when I start, I'm like, oh, what's a pitch competition? Um, but now but I mean, I've known for now for a while. But my point is, before I got into business and was just in nursing, I wouldn't have. If you had said pitch competition, I wouldn't have known what that was. So I share this with you. The pitch competition is basically a way for you to pitch your business potentially to investors, or to someone who doesn't know what you're doing. Maybe you're planning something. Maybe you're trying to start a business. Maybe you're trying to get investors. So a pitch competition, or a pitch. You've heard of an elevator pitch? A pitch is you sharing your passion about your business and what you're doing. But there's three things that we're going to be looking at during our pitch competition. And this is your way, your opportunity to shine, right? Let people know what you're doing. One of the main things we're going to be looking at is knowing your numbers, right? So that's going to be about 50% of the criteria. The second thing we're going to be looking at is what population do you serve and who do you help? And then the third thing we're going to be looking at is how well you present it. How do you articulate it? What your presentation looks like. But what I want to talk about today is what knowing your numbers mean, right? Because people aren't necessarily familiar with, okay, when you say, know your numbers, all right, so I can say, like, I want to make 250, right? 250K. But what does knowing your numbers mean? So there's 7 things that you want to know about your business, and knowing your numbers is actually what keeps you in business. And again, like I always say, coming from a healthcare background, we're not always taught these things. We're not always taught the numbers of our business. We know the numbers when it comes to certain data points, right? That the hospitals need. If we're working in a hospital to, stay in business, but we don't know, when I say data points to stay in business, so like your press gaining scores, right? Your fall rates, things like that. But we're not necessarily taught the business side, right? The budgeting and what that looks like, the financial, the realms that I'm going to go through right now. So in your business, one of the first things you need to know is your revenue, right? So what is your revenue for your business? And so how much are you bringing in, right? So how much are you bringing in with your business? And that's important to know. You need to know, because that's how you're going to stay afloat. And if I didn't say this already, this is how or why people go out of business, because they don't always know what their numbers are. And that's why that's one of the key points in the pitch competition. So what's your revenue? The second thing you want to know is, what's your expenses? How much does it cost? Excuse me, how much is it costing you to stay in business? I don't know what's going on in my throat. And then the third thing is, what's your profit margin, right? What do you actually keep after expenses? Like, what's your profit margin? The fourth thing is, what's your customer acquisition cost? So how much does it cost for you to get one new client, right? Like, what's your customer acquisition cost? So that's your customer acquisition cost. And then what's your lifetime customer value, right? So what does it cost you to keep that client? Like, what is it costing you to keep that client over time? Like, that's your lifetime customer value. And then what's your break even point? Like, what's actually covering your expenses, right? That's your break even point. And the last thing you want to know, we're going to be looking for is what are your projections? So where do you see your business in 6 months, 12 months? What are your projections? And we'll probably just go with 12 months for the purposes of our pitch competition. But where do you see your business in 12 months? So those are about 7 things, right? So let me see: revenue, expensive, profit margins, customer acquisition costs, lifetime customer value, break even point, and your projections. So those are about 7 things that we're going to be looking for. And when you're pitching it really should just be able to roll off your tongue, right? So again, where you're passionate about this and you know what you're doing, but where are you with your numbers in your business? So those are what we're going to be looking for, and that's going to be about a large part of the pitch competition, of the criteria of what we're going to be looking for. And listen, this is an opportunity for you to gain a cash reward for your business, right? Startup business, or even if whether you're a startup or if you've been in business. Now, we're looking at businesses in the health, wealth, and wellness space. Now, if you have like 50 or more, or if you're like a mid-sized business, I don't know if it's really, I mean, I don't know if it's really fair for you to pitch up against, startups, but we'll see. Like, right? Like, we'll see. We'll definitely we'll look at the criteria. But for now, I just wanted to share what the criteria is for knowing your numbers in your business. So, and that's important. So that's what we're going to be looking for the pitch competition. I hope that answered any questions people may have, like what's a pitch competition? So I've shared with you what a pitch competition is and what we're going to be looking for and what does it mean to know your numbers in your business. Now, I hope to see you on May 15th and 16th. You can join us at healthandwealthexpolive.com. We still have a few seats left. So feel free to join us May 15th and 16th in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. All right, guys. Talk soon. Bye.